Hello everyone, my name is Sydney Hughes and today's video is going to be on two-strand twists. I'm going to show you how to do on wet hair and on dry hair some really easy two-strand twists and show you the way I do them to kind of make sure that your roots stay nice and smooth, your style has longevity, and how you can do it using minimal product and the kinds of tools I use to prep the hair. So our girl here has been washed, um, and she's been shampooed and conditioned, and I have put in her hair some like a lightweight moisturizing cream. I've been using Supernova Moisture and Shine cream from Amika. And so I put a little bit all over, and as you can see, I have half of this section blow dried straight, and then have this section is wet. I have not put any other products in yet. I'm going to show you what I'm going to use first, and then we'll kind of get into it. So what you want to make sure when you are doing two-strand twists, whether the hair is wet or dry, your prep for the hair should be something hydrating, something moisturizing, and something like lightweight. You don't want to weigh the twist down, because then when you do take them out for your secondary style, it's going to be heavy. It's not going to sit properly. So a lightweight moisturizing cream or a lightweight styling oil is a good way to prep the hair before you add the rest of your products. Also, you want to make sure that your shampoo and conditioner is extremely moisturizing. So I'm going to start my twists. We're going to start with the dry section. And so I have this whole section here. The size of your twist will dictate the shape of your curl and your style and exactly how it'll all look. Today, just for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to do one big square in the center, and then at the end, I'll just show you how it looks with everything twisted to make sure that you really get a feel for what the style is going to look like. So, like I said, my hair, this section here is dry. I'm going to go in with a lightweight styling oil first. This is Superfruit Star from Amika. And so I only need one pump of this. You don't want anything too heavy. And again, I'm focusing my product application on the mid shafts to ends, which is this center section here toward the ends, right? So I start at my ends, and as I add my product, I'm working my way up the hair. All right, I'm smoothing all of that in, making sure that we're in a good spot. And then for my styler, I'm actually going to be using Curl Core Curl Defining Cream from Amika. If you can't tell, there's a theme here. I am using all Amika products for this style tutorial. All right. I put about like a silver dollar amount for this section because I want the hair to be saturated, right? And so now with my styler, I want to make sure I'm going all the way to the root. So I'm smoothing that on the root here, making sure all of this is applied thoroughly. Everything is coated. Okay, now I'm going to take my Cosmology paddle comb, the Curls Plus paddle comb. This is really good because you can use this when you're shampooing to detangle, and also when you're working product through and getting your sections in order. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that I brush all of that cream through. All right, so now I'm going to take my Curls Plus comb, and I'm just going to start, just like I said, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to start with a square section. Let's see, that'll be one. This will be another one. And I'm going to start with a bigger section just so you can kind of see exactly what I mean with the way that I twist. Right? And so I have a full square right here. Right? And so you want to make sure that your entire section is nice and smooth. And then what I'm going to do for this section, I'm going to add some Amika Plus Size Mousse. What this is going to do is just give me a little bit more hold, a little bit more shine, and just make sure that my twists come out beautifully. So when I'm starting my twist, if I'm going with a square, sometimes I'll do my twist on triangles, and we'll cover that in another video. But for today's video, right, I'm starting on a square section. I'm going to take a small section from that upper left-hand corner right here. And then I'm going to take my square and I'm going to split that into 2 triangles. All right, so I have this piece, and this piece. Remember that. So you have your 1, your 2, and your 3. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create what I like to call the anchor braid. This helps to give my twist more volume and lift and keep the twist centered in my section. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2, cross it over, right? I'm going to twist 1 and 2, 1 and 3 together, grab 1, pull 3, twist everybody. If you already know how to braid, then you know what to do here, right? So I'm just doing a very small braid here, right? Couple of passes. And now I'm going to take that skinny piece and this piece here, and I'm going to combine them. And now I'm going to start my twist, right? So what you want to make sure that you do with your twist, and I'm going to give you a little something to keep in your mind when you're doing it. I'm holding my left piece between my thumb and my forefinger. I'm going to take my 3 fingers on my left hand and grab that right side piece, right? But before I do that, I'm pinching with my right thumb and forefinger, smoothing this section down, pinch and smooth, grab. I'm flipping my left hand over, pinching with my right hand to grab that piece that needs to be smoothed out. I'm going to take my left thumb and forefinger and I'm going to twist that piece in my left hand. And then I'm going to do the same thing. So pinch and smooth, grab, flip, pinch, twist, smooth, grab, flip, pinch, twist, grab, flip, pinch, twist, smooth, grab, flip, pinch, twist, smooth, grab, flip. As you get the hang of it, right, you can move a little faster, right? And so I've gotten to the end and I'm going to swirl and release, and that's going to stay in place. Okay, so I am now going to wet down this section a little bit more just because it dried out some, and I want to make sure that it's good and moisturized and so that the product can do what it needs to do. So that is a key when you are doing twist on wet hair. You want to make sure that the hair is fully saturated, that it can handle the product, that the product can do what it needs to do, that there's enough water joining the party. Okay, so for the wet twists, I'm going to be using a Mika Curl Core Curl Enhancing Gel, right? It's a very lightweight gel, has a good medium hold, but it'll make for some really nice long-lasting twists. So I'm using about a silver dollar amount, probably a little more than necessary for the small section, but it's okay. And again, with your styling products, you want to make sure that you get all the way to the root. That way your style can set properly and those roots can set properly. All right, so I'm going to go in and we're going to distribute the product with our Curls Plus paddle comb, making sure that gel is evenly distributed all throughout the hair, that there's no parts of the hair that feel or look too dry. All right, and so I have a little box right there that I'm going to twist, and we're going to use some more of that plus size mousse. Ooh. Okay, girl. All right, so I have just about this much, like a little smaller than a golf ball, and I'm going to work that all the way through, smoothing down the outside of my section just to make sure that my roots are smooth and everything is where it should be. All right, so again, I'm grabbing my small section. I am splitting my box into 2 triangles. I have my 3 pieces. And now I'm gonna pull some tension because I want those roots to stay smooth, right? I want the base of my twist to stay nice and smooth. So my anchor braid is what's gonna help me do that. All right, so I'm done with my anchor braid, right? So I'm taking my little piece, my big piece, pinching them together, and I'm flipping my hand so that my singular piece becomes my left piece and my 2 pieces become my right piece, right? So they're together, this is together. I'm twisting, I'm grabbing and smoothing, flipping, pinch, twist, smooth, grab, flip, right? Pinch, twist, smooth, grab, flip. 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 Right? And so now with your wet twist, as we get to the end, if I find that this side, like one of my pieces is smaller than the other, I'm just going to pinch a little from the larger side and continue on down. I'm going to continue on down, and then I'm just going to take my finger and twirl those ends. Right? And you see it's already starting to curl up. And so you see the difference between the 2 twists. The boxes are the same size, but because this one is wet, it's still going to give you some of that shrinkage. Okay, so our twists are dry, right? As you can tell, these are nice and juicy, right? That shrinkage has kicked in. These are more elongated, but they're dry, they're ready to go. What you don't want to do is untwist your twists before they are thoroughly dried, right? You want to make sure that they have dried all the way, or else your style will not come out the way you want it to. So, for untwisting, I'm going to put a little bit more Superfruit Star in my hand, and I'm going to start with my dry side. You want to put the lightweight styling oil on your hand before you untwist, and then I'm just going to smooth the outside of those twists, right? But I have enough oil on my hand, and you want to get it on your fingers, like work it all over your hands thoroughly. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start your untwisting. I'm going to start with the first one we did. So one way to do it is to slowly unravel in the opposite way of how you twisted. And what that does, it keeps your twist in place. All right, and so I'm just going to pull that little tiny piece out of there. It's not going to mess with my style at all. All right, and then I'm just going to unbraid in reverse. Now we're going to do the same for our wet twists. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on my hands, massage, cover all the pieces, all the fingers, and then I'm just going to go in and I'm going to grab and smooth. All right, and so I'm going to put this piece away, and we're going to start here, and same thing. I'm just going to lightly unravel, separate, reach up, get that little one, slide down and separate, and then I'm just going to unbraid in the opposite way that I braided in the first place. All right. And then I'm just going to smooth that out. As you can see, I did not let this dry all the way like I just told you all to do, but it's okay. All right. So do we see the difference in our twists, right? We see the difference here in our twists. You have juicy, you have elongated. I'm going to take my Cosmology pick, right? So now I'm going to take my pick because I want to break these little parts up. And I'm just going to put it in at the root here. And I'm just going to come out a little bit. Just a little. I'm not trying to break up what we have just yet, right? Same thing on this side. I'm just going to come in at the root. I'm just going to slide in here at the root, pull a little, and slide right out, right? I'm not coming all the way to the end, but the goal is to break up those parts that we had. Final thing, and then I'll let you go. With our twists, I can then put a little bit more oil on my fingers because if I want more separation, right? If I want more separation, more definition, I'm going to go in here, smooth my section out, and just take my finger and separate. All right? I'm just going to take my fingers, separate these pieces, right? Because I want to break them up. I still have a good juicy curl, but I can separate as small as I want to. And when I do this, this gives me more volume, right? This breaks up those curls, shows off that definition. I'm going to do the same on our dry side. Right? And I'm just breaking those things up. And remember how we put our twists in the center of the section? Our base was in the center. That is what is giving us this lovely volume here. Okay? And like I said, taking our pick, because now that I've separated the curls, I still want to fluff the root a little bit. I'm just going to go in here, slide that in, pull out and shake, slide that in, shake a little bit. And it honestly depends on what your desired goal is for your twists, right? How do you want your client's hair to look? How do you want your hair to look? So it all depends on how you want your hair to look when you're twisting, right? And so I'm going to bring this closer so we can see. So you've got more definition here, more elongation here, but both really smooth, soft, shiny curls that are more intentional and put together. All right, and that is your two-strand twist tutorial on wet hair and dry hair using your cosmology tools. I hope you guys had a great time, and I look forward to the next one. See you later. Have a great day.